All right, guys, guess what I'm doing today? We're out here in beautiful Sacramento, California at Thunderhill Raceway, and that is a 2019 Hyundai Veloster N. It's what we call a hot hatch. What's a hot hatch? Well, it's the high-performance version of an economy hatchback. Make sense? Hot hatch. So we love hot hatches because they blend the convenience and utility of a daily driver, but they have the speed and performance of a car that you can take to a racetrack, just like this one, bomb around on a weekend and have a ton of fun. And lucky me, I get to do a little bit of that today. Now the Veloster N, it's got some serious competition in this segment. For one, there's the Honda Civic Type-R that not only makes 306 horsepower, but it's probably the best handling front drive car that I've ever driven. Now a little more upmarket, we have the Ford Focus RS as well as the Volkswagen Golf R, both of which make a ton of horsepower and come standard with all-wheel drive. So what we're here to find out today is if this Veloster N can even be considered legitimate competition with that group. So we're going to answer that question for you today. But before we do us a favor and hit subscribe. It's how we know that you want to keep seeing these videos that we're making. And if you want to read more about the Hyundai Veloster N, you can check out our first drive on Edmunds.com. All right, so here we are, driving the Hyundai Veloster N for the first time. Pretty excited to really sort this thing out. We're on a back road in Northern California. It's a little rough. We're starting out in normal mode, so all the normal settings, we have the suspension. It's a little softer. It's an adaptive suspension so that it kind of changes with respect to the conditions. So if the road's bumpy, it might soften up a bit. When you drive faster, it might firm up a bit. The suspension feels pretty good. Compared to the base Veloster, it is a little bit stiffer, even if that base Veloster has a fixed suspension. If you are looking for a performance car that you can drive every day, so far I don't see this being an issue like the Ford Focus RS, which was way too stiff in any setting you put it. So we're gonna go ahead and switch to a slightly sportier mode. So now we're in sport mode, just a little bit stiffer. And I'm getting a little bit more vertical movement. But beyond that, we have the N mode, which is essentially the most aggressive setting. Oh man. Yeah, that's pretty stiff. I don't think I would be driving this in, oh man. I don't think I would be driving this in N mode on any public road with any sort of bumps in it. It's pretty stiff. So let's go ahead and switch that back to normal mode. Okay, so there's also an eco mode. It doesn't really alter a lot of the suspension settings. It's primarily meant for fuel saving. So if you're driving just around town or you're on a long trip and you want to save some fuel, eco mode is good for that because it just softens the profile of the accelerator. It's not quite as touchy. But with that said, you can still get on it. So you're not losing any of that peak power. It's still there. You just have to dig a little deeper into the throttle. And there's a fifth mode called customs where you can mix and match all the systems. So if I want the most aggressive engine setting but the softest suspension setting, I can customize all of that. So the Veloster N for now only comes with a manual transmission. There are talks about bringing an automatic a couple years out, but they haven't released any details about that. So the clutch in this car has been upgraded. It's got a stronger friction material and the gearbox has also been reinforced. That can sometimes, when you're dealing with performance cars, cause the friction zone to be a little tricky. It might be hard to manage. That's not the case here. This clutch is really easy to modulate, and yeah, I could totally see being able to drive this in traffic if I had to. We're on the optional 19-inch Pirelli summer tires. The noise is manageable. It's not It's not a luxury car, so it doesn't have your luxury car levels of sound insulation. So if you don't want to deal with the level of road noise that may be present, it's got a pretty good stereo system. It's an infinity system. It does a really good job of drowning out all that road noise, so you won't even notice it. I really like these seats. They've got slightly more aggressive bolstering because we have higher cornering loads because of the higher level of performance. And I could probably see myself being fairly comfortable in these seats for a while. Big thumbs up for seat comfort. Oh look, a sedan. So easy.
Oh look, a coupe.
So one thing that immediately separates the Veloster from all the other hatches has to be its 3-door configuration. It's a coupe on the left and a sedan on the right. So as a driver, as you're walking up, you get the illusion of this very sleek and sporty 2-door, but as a passenger getting in from the curbside, you have easier access to the rear seat, so you don't have to crawl through this small and uncomfortably narrow space. I guess it kind of works. Now, as far as differences between the Veloster N and the regular car, the gloss black grille with the N badge, as well as a slightly different spoiler, which if you didn't have the cars side by side, would be a little hard to make out. But by far the most distinctive change here has to be the red accents here, that are red on every single color except red, where they're black. I'm not a huge fan of these red accents, but I can see why Hyundai went with them. They're very distinctive and make the car almost instantly noticeable. We also have these 19-inch wheels, which are optional, but included in the performance package, which among other things includes that nice 25 horsepower bump. As we come around to the rear here, we have the dual element wing, which Hyundai says is functional, so it actually increases downforce at speed. We've got high flow dual exhaust and very large exhaust tips that enter out on either side instead of the center like the base car. Red stripe detail again carries through the rear end, and I don't mind it here because you have the tail lights which kind of match. So one of the best benefits of a hot hatch is the hatch. Compared to a regular sedan, you have a lot more space. You can lay the seats down flat if you have longer cargo to hold. Compared to other hatchbacks in this group, the Veloster doesn't have quite as much space. It's right around 20 cubic feet, whereas most others are anywhere from like 23 to 26. And it's because the Veloster has this rakish roofline that it gives up some of that volume. But hey, it looks good. So the cabin of the Veloster N isn't that much different from the standard car. It looks pretty similar, kind of right on the surface level. There are some key differences. First off, you have the dual drive mode buttons here. You got one on the left that allows you to toggle through all the street modes, so eco, normal, and sport. And then you've got one on the right with a race flag, which allows you to call up the most aggressive settings, the N settings, as well as anything that you may have programmed into the custom setting. Some of the other key differences here, you have some N logos kind of throughout the cabin. You also have a blue colored seatbelt and some contrast stitching, which is a very nice touch. As far as overall cabin quality goes, I think the Veloster's cabin looks nice, but it's only when you start to put hands on surfaces that you begin to realize where Hyundai had to pull out a little bit of the cost. The dash, the door uppers, everything here is pretty much hard plastic. Again, if you're not touching it, it looks fine, it doesn't bother me, and I realize that's some of the trade-off that you have to make in order to get all that performance that's underneath the hood. As far as infotainment systems go, it's the same system, touchscreen, very easy to use. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto are also included as standard on all these models. And as far as device integration, we have 2 convenient USB ports up here. We also have a 12 volt at 180 watts, your typical car charger, as well as an auxiliary input. As far as backseat space go, it's actually not that bad. I'm about 5'9", so not especially tall, and I have a pretty good amount of knee clearance. I'd say about a fifth's worth in between my knees and the hard seat back here. So if you're a long-legged person and your knees are gonna be touching, there's not a whole lot of, I guess, extra give here because it's a hard seat back. Now, in terms of headroom, the Veloster has a really cool silhouette, and so you're not gonna have the type of headroom that you would normally have in a much more traditionally shaped hatch. As far as passengers go, this is a true 4-seater. You're not gonna squeeze 5 people back here because right in the middle, you have a hard plastic cup holder and bin space. So 2 cup holders here, a little space for phones and stuff. We're also missing a center armrest here, so your passengers, although they have decent amount of space, there's not a whole lot of extra comfort back here. Yeah, sounds awesome. All right, now we're getting after it. Here we are, first hot lap in the Veloster N. Let's see what this thing has. Oh yeah. Good corner exit power. Getting hard on the brakes here. We've got a more aggressive trackpad here that's available as an accessory. And feels good. Good brake feel. This car, through the sweepers, this car just stays nice and flat. It's really planted. I'm stuck behind a little bit of traffic. Yeah, very, very nicely controlled here. Oh man, I just saw a wheel lift in front of me. That's awesome. We're not even, I don't feel like we're even going that crazy. We're still maybe about 80% of the speed. But already the wheel's lifting, which is an indication that we have really good body stiffness. Hyundai has put extra effort into putting more welds, more reinforcements to make sure that this body is as stiff as it can be. And it's showing right here. Oh man. The shift light is also very helpful. So every time we go for an upshift, you hear that? That's a little bit of backfire on the overrun, and that's part of the design. It really adds to the character, the sporty character of this car. So every time you lift the throttle, every time you're going for an upshift, it's really that pop and crackle is just so satisfying. You just want to keep doing it. They weren't trying for maximum peak power. They wanted a very flexible power band, which means that the engine makes power over a wide range in RPM. And I could feel that, like on that last corner, I was maybe a gear too high. Again, I'm trying to work out how the gears are on this track, but you know, it had the torque from a low RPM to really just sort of pull me out of the corner. I think I was supposed to be on a cool down lap. I think I was too excited. Oh man, we're going in already. Woo! That was fun. So we just got off the track in the Veloster N, and that was our first time out in the car on this track. And from what I can say, oh my God, this car is amazing. We only had about 4 laps, which was not enough. I'm really looking forward to getting a little bit more track time, so let's see if I can sneak in right here. All right, so here is a lap around the Autocross. Little bumpy here. So far, so good. Little bit of understeer. Right now, I'm being pretty tight. Woo! Well, that was fun. All right, so now that we've had some seat time in the Veloster N out at the track, here at the Autocross, and out at the street, we can say that it is a phenomenal handling car. It's comfortable enough that you could drive it daily, and it may not be the fastest car, but it's not trying to be, and it's got plenty of speed for you to enjoy and have fun with every day. So Hyundai hasn't yet released final pricing, but they're estimating it to start at around $28,000. $30,000 if you want the performance package, which is a heck of a lot of car for $30K. The Veloster's closest competition at this price is the Honda Civic Type-R at $36,000. Now, I'm not saying that that's not worth it, but I kind of like the styling of the Veloster a little more. It's a little more understated, not as look at me like the Honda Civic. So don't get me wrong, the Honda Civic Type-R is still an incredible value, but if you're someone looking for maximum bang for the buck, then the Veloster N is going to be hard to beat. I had a blast here today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.